dumpster fire of a situation. Holy crap, freaking Batman. Gamers can be a pissy bunch, let me tell you. This is 4 mother effing years of no rule book. So first up, we have to go with one that got a huge amount of crowdfunding hype, hotness, advertisement, pre-campaign, during campaign, whole videos dedicated to how to select things in the pledge manager for this awesome freaking miniature chapter based campaign lifestyle game of Stormsunder Heirs of Ruin. At the time of me filming this, it has been 1,832 days since it finished funding, right? 4,000 people raised almost $1 million just during the crowdfunding campaign alone. I would make the argument that I would be shocked, just like we see with the Awakened Realms heavy miniature games side of things, when they post how much gets in the campaign. If this was less than double in the campaign pledge manager, I would be absolutely gobsmacked. And we just had an update at the end of February, basically just showing off more cards. And they say our deadline for preparing the files for translators is very nearly coming. We have a very busy March, but absolutely, utterly no time frame in when this game is ever going to come out either. Literally, the last 4 updates have all been saying the same thing. We're working on files for translators. That's our #1 task. And even the one back at the end of November said, we will continue to be so until at least the end of the year. Well, I mean, we're 3 months past the end of the year and we're still going strong on this 5-chapter driven game that the base pledge alone back in 2020, like we've become a little numb to it, right? But this was like right when COVID was hitting, right before things shut down, 5 years ago, before a lot of the crowdfunding freaking inflation happened, that the base game alone for this, the 300-page campaign book and 1,100 cards, 1,100 cards that you were going to get in March 2022, that they said even then at that point, a 2-year out date is $150. And you want 2 of the boxes? $300. You want all 3 of the boxes? With 3,200 cards. You sleevers are liking that GIF meme where the guy's just like dripping sweat, right? 3,200 cards, 300 miniatures, $500. And that wasn't even really an all-in, because they threw out extra miniatures, extra gameplay content, extra character packs in the pledge manager to entice people higher and higher and higher and higher. So I think this thing was well over $600 easily by the time the all-in, and some of you are going, well, Chris, $600 isn't anything anymore. This is 5 years later. There is 0 time frame in the last 6 months of any sense of when this could be delivered. Now, again, we'll play glass half full for a second, because, you know, both sides of the argument. A good game is a great game forever. A game that's released too early without all of the things is a bad game forever. And so I want a good game forever. But Lazy Squire, like, I don't know where this is gonna go, right? You know, you're getting like 3 cards or so, maybe 6 if you're lucky, on all of these updates saying we're getting closer to, you know, doing things. And there's no news even to say if production's going to plan for this year, and you know what they're going to do in terms of, is this just for all of the first core box? Is this all 3 boxes? I don't know. 6 cards per month, 3,200 cards. You do the math there if you want, but that's why we got to talk about it, folks. Then one of the ones that we also have to talk about, because of the recent post that got thrown over on Reddit too, that was a little tone deaf. We'll talk about that in a second. Quimbley's picked up, as you're probably, maybe, or maybe not aware, the Petersen Games fiasco, right? With their, I don't know, what was it, like something along the lines of 8 unfulfilled Kickstarter campaigns when they actually were acquired. Your Return to Planet Apocalypse, Dinosaur 1944, Eternal Adversary, Call of Cthulhu, all of these, right? Hyperspace, the latest of Cthulhu Wars, which I believe they've delivered that fourth wave at this point. And again, it's just kind of like WTF. The crowdfunding Kickstarter pages for these were last updated basically 3 months ago. And it was a link over to the Quimbley Games website that basically just said, well, here's sort of a pseudo meter to see where we're at. And approximately, we'll get some sort of game, I think one every maybe 2 years. So if you're one of those 5 or 6 deep right now for a couple $100, I'd imagine you'll get your game sometime around 2031, if that sounds good. The Awakened Realms situation, when they announced crowdfunding campaigns beginning in 2026, that'll probably be in 2028. So that's, better than 2031, I guess, right? So that's assuming Quimbley's and Petersen are both still somewhat in business, because, with Quimbley's, this post that I was just referring to was something they posted right after the New Year back in February here. And this Quimbley's post was from a blog post talking about how they said that they wanted to do all of the production of their stuff, Petersen and otherwise, in the US. And then they bought a bunch of stuff and they decided to try and do it. Making stuff in America, right? Okay, you know what? Let's build and do everything manufacturing from scratch, right? That sounds fantastic. But then they found out, as if you couldn't figure this out, and this is literally something small indie solo design publishers are doing on crowdfunding all the time. Making it in China is half the cost of making it elsewhere, potentially. Shocker right there. But they bought machines. But then they found out after they bought machines that they couldn't actually compete with the Chinese prices. So this is the tone deaf part that I was talking about. The quote is literally, honestly, we had no idea how angry the Petersen Games audience was going to be about having paid for games that never arrived. Did you not understand how things work? People pay for something and they, they should get it. Now, crowdfunding and pre-orders, crowdfunding versus donations. I'm not going to get into that, but here's the part. Even when we were announced that we would be fulfilling these games, for every backer, frustration and resentment still manifested constantly. No matter what progress was shown, an uninterrupted stream of rage would fly back in our faces. End quote. Gamers can be a pissy bunch, let me tell you. Now, taking that just solely by itself, gamers, you know what? Freaking Kickstarter comment sections are a pissing contest at times. At the same time, any wherewithal, any common sense that you have shown has been not really there. You're launching, little contests to give people things. You're sending random crap that people don't want, spending the money that way instead of the actual content that they're desiring. So, again, this is losing the context of what you were freaking doing while this stuff was going on. It's not just them pissing and moaning for the sake of pissing and moaning, right? And again, I hate that. I see that in the Dice Throne game group all the time when Marvel Dice Throne X-Men just delivered. People are like, I don't have my game as soon as somebody else. Kickstarter is a fraud. Dice Throne, you're effing whatever, blah, 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 blah. And that happens. But when you pull a bait and switch, when you just give random crap that is clearly then taking out of the pockets of the money that then you're now telling me that you're having trouble affording because it's going to cost more to manufacture in the first place. Wholly just not with it at all. And I hope for backers' sakes that they do this. But, this was a month ago that this was posted. This was on a different website than Quimbley, but even Quimbley doesn't have any updates on their situation since the end of December on where things are at. So again, 3 months, absolutely no news, right? as we talk about across the board, I don't care if it's bad news necessarily, but transparency and honesty. And that's the theme of this video. That's the theme a lot of these failed ones are doing, is that it's just not there, or it's just not done appropriately, right? Like, you don't talk to customers in person that come into your shop like this. Why would you talk about it like this in the first place online? Because, again, accountability, right? Spouting things online, because it's easier to spout things online with lies than it is to actually tell the truth. So that's a whole nother situation. I'm not getting into that, don't worry. Sorry. Quick last update here, burying the lead. Apparently, about a week prior to me filming this, very interesting, right? Over on the Return to Planet Apocalypse forums, I'm not sure if it's all of the other ones. Again, these games are all years and years and years and years out. I'm not even giving you the amount of time. You don't want to know that. They are referring to a statement at this time saying, the relationship between Quimbley's and Petersen games coming to an end is true. Despite Sandy and my diligent effort to keep the plan going, this has happened for a variety of reasons we can't delve into due to legal issues surrounding the same. They are correct in saying we are doing all that we can to assure the existing inventory of hyperspace we shipped out from the factory. We don't have a timeline. Petersen didn't relinquish our intellectual property, and we don't expect that there will be any credible claims for the same. Counsel advised us not to go into specifics of any actual or potential litigation at the moment. We will follow that advice. Naturally, we would fill you in on all of what is happening, what we're planning, but doing so would effectively stymie our legal strategy and potentially expose us to unfounded claims of defamation. We will keep you appraised, but naturally there has to be a limit to holy crap freaking Batman, right? It is hitting the freaking fan. Does that mean, or realistically, would anyone touch this dumpster fire of a situation now? Would anyone? This isn't a game. This isn't two games. This is an absolute, utter 7-digit, multi-7-digit situation that you would have to bail somebody out of. Steamforged? You just did it with Youthia. You just did it with Six Siege. Just kidding. But seriously, I don't even know what to say, right? Everything is fine meme. Insert here. And one of my personal favorite ones, we always have to include this one because, you know, truth be told, the last time I did this video, I actually thought I would be talking about it differently now. Whoa, spoilers, Onimaru, I'm not. It has been, if you thought it was a long time ago for Stormsunder, it has been 2,234 days at the time of me filming this, January 28, 2019, when Onimaru from Penguin and Panda Games finished funding. A couple $100,000, sort of this deck builder situation with an Eastern Asian thematic incorporation, dice chucking, dice thrown, Aeon's End mixed together. Got some hype from a few people, said this was really freaking awesome, and then things went balls to the walls sideways. And the last update has these images showing, here we go, the long-awaited elusive Onimaru palette carton photos from Longpack. We are close to port drop-off, and I will be back when that happens to address the next steps and timeline. Here are the photos. We did it! Yay! When was that update? folks, that update was September 4, 2024. Over 6 months ago. Boom shakalaka. Zero anything since then. Zero anything. I actually thought we were getting a game. And you know what? Maybe they just have tons and tons of unpaid bills and it's sitting in port just gathering dust and mold. So by the time you actually get the money to pay for it, your games will all be moldy and worthless anyway, and you'll be out another $150. So why not, right? Maybe this is all not smoke and mirrors. Maybe these photos aren't photoshopped. No one has any freaking clue. But if that doesn't piss you off, just like the other ones, well, it should. Some slightly positive news before we go back down in the trenches and the ditches. Shadow Tactics, the board game. You know, the one from Antler Games that said, here's our campaign originally. We raised $100,000 on this board game based IP video game situation. 1 to 6 players, ninjas outsmarting guards. Hi-ya! I got nothing else. And then we ran a second campaign before we delivered because we needed more funds, and we got 600 more people and, you know, another $50,000 to $70,000 as well. And then they stopped working on it and people left and it was like a one-man show and just terrible, terrible train wreck of a situation. However, the person who has stepped in, they are actually freaking delivering this. They are in the process of delivering this. People are getting their games potentially, like literally as we speak, which is awesome. Again, for a game that funded originally in March of 2021, only 4 years later. Because, you know, the original one was they were going to make it and it was going to be delivered in June 2021 was what they said, right? You know, 3-month turnaround, 3-month turnaround. Holy red flag. Actually, it's a yellow flag. It's not really a red flag. There are very few red flags on Kickstarter. Anyone who says that in any comments or sections or forums is just, you know, blowing things out of proportion because they want to get attention and raise some smoke. But yellow flag for sure, regardless. But that one has a happy ending, hopefully. However, okay, we got to talk about this one too, right? Chai Tea for 2. And this one is only 1,375 days since it finished funding, and it's only at the time of me filming this about 3 years or 37 months late. However, raising $200,000 during the campaign and probably 5 to 6 digits after the campaign, well, we haven't had an update since May 13 of 2024. Yes, because they were going to visit the factory in China at that time and talking about final production hurdles. Oh, because they had an issue packaging all 14 of the dice into the game and they had to go there in person to actually figure it out. And again, we get more lovely pictures of pallets because there were lots of quality control checks that had to be done. There is absolutely zero information here right now, right? So Ponzi scheme? So take the money and run? So just, you know, scam? I no idea. Steep games and just what the freaking deuce situation. Gosh, I almost forgot about this one. Stellaris, the Infinite Legacy. Again, another very well thought of video game gone to the tabletop. I haven't heard about that before. Academy Games. You know, the crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter that came with one sort of weird paid preview video that was very ambiguous and kind of talked about the gameplay, but was all they put out during the campaign. Well, I mean, again, this thing raised almost more than any of the other ones in this video. It raised $2.5 million before the pledge manager with 13,000 backers. Insane numbers, right? And was supposed to be delivered 3 years ago. And that's a long time. I mean, it's 1,436 days. So it puts us right smack dab square in the middle of some of these other ones. But the most recent update prior to me filming this from the beginning of February just talks about some of the decks that they've done. And their supporters are reviewing, and you can click on it and you can see, and they show you some stuff. But apparently we are over 1,400 days out from the end of the campaign. 1,400 days, right? 4 years. And there is no rule book yet. I bang on Awakened Realms for not having the rule book out during the campaign, right? I'm known for that. I also criticize them because it sometimes barely comes out before the pledge manager. This is 4 mother effing years of no rule book. Holy right? Flags, Batman. And now, you know, to be fair, in December, right? They said that we have our project deadline to send all of the files to the printer by the end of February. Guess what? March, you're not anywhere close. So, no rulebook, not anywhere close to production. Is it going to even be any time in 2025? Nah, you're not going to get this year. This is easily going to be a 2026 situation. Easily. I hope not, though. But maybe you'll get a product, unlike some of these others, at least. I mean, it seems to have a little bit more concrete info, right? No shipping pallet pictures yet, though. That is just, you know, the big ones that I know about. I know there's a couple other smaller ones out there that I haven't touched on. I know there's some other ones that I probably should be talking about. Why is no one else talking about these? Because it's not fun to talk about, because it's not uplifting to talk about. Where are the spotlights on these things? These are the things that our community and our hobby should be talking about and should be supporting each other in. But it doesn't drive the algorithms, so here we are. And here we are with way too many people lost money all over the place. So I'm sorry. But hopefully we see less and less of this. But the problem is there's people out there that will also take advantage of this too, which is a real issue here. So there you go. Have a great freaking fantastic day. Sub, let me know what you think. And you got any other projects that I should be talking about? Hit me up. Let me know in the comment section down below, because I'll shine the spotlight on them. We'll talk about them. We'll rail them. We'll see what we can do. That's all I got. Stay classy. Peace out.